Happy Friday, newsies. It is I, Becca Lori Hector, here with your next installment of Neurodiversity Newsstand. Thank you for coming back and joining me. Welcome back to the channel if you come regularly. If you're new, this is Neurodiversity Newsstand, which is my once a week kind of neurodiversity news in a nutshell, where I wrap up all of the good, juicy neurodiversity news that was out there this week in our groups. And I wrap it up on a Friday in case you didn't have a chance to read everything and you just want to keep in the loopy. And so that's what we're doing here on Newsstand. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button below and join us so that you know what's going on. Okay, well, welcome back, guys. Those of you that come regularly, I'm here. It's Friday. It's in the early afternoon. And I'm having a little pep in my step today. I woke up this morning not feeling like that. But it was a beautiful day, and I spent the morning outside with the dogs, and I did all kinds of good self-care this morning, and it is now paying off because here I am and smiling and feeling okay about being here right now. So I'm alone in the house. I'm not usually alone in the house, and sometimes that can be a little creepy for me. So I saved having to do, I have to do this, and today is also the day that I record Asking Spectrum Women. So I had to record both of those things today. And I figured, you know what? I'm just going to leave them till when I'm going to be alone in the house. So I have something to do and I don't focus on being alone. I grew up in an apartment. So I'm still getting used to living in a house and not having neighbors on either side of you and stuff. So I think eventually I'll get used to the alone in the house thing. But it still weirds me out. In any case, it is a beautiful day out today here. I hope it's feeling spring-like near you guys, wherever you are. I'm starting to see the end of it, you know, and the sun is out. Starting to see like snow melt and the birds are coming back and all kinds of stuff. So spring can't be too far. And so I'm excited. I'm excited because it's my favorite time of year. Spring, I enjoy spring. In fact, the only time of year I really don't love, which I'm starting to feel different about now that I live here, is summer. I'm not a big summer person. I don't like to be hot. Yeah, so that was good, and that's what went on this week in terms of weather. But I had some excitement this week, you guys. A little bit, tiny bit of excitement. This week, my first newsletter went out. Yay for me, hooray. Yeah, so I finally got myself together and organized in an effort to kind of gather together the folks that like the work that I'm doing and want more of it. I created a newsletter, a motivational newsletter that I am putting out once a month. And each month it's going to have a different theme. And in this, you know, and so within the newsletter, you'll have some articles, a little note from me. You'll have some tips and tricks for handling or dealing with whatever the topic may be. So my very first installment went out on Tuesday. And so there were a bunch of you on the list, and I hope that you got it, and I hope that you liked it. Please be kind. It was my very first one. I'm sure they'll get better, and I'll get better at it. But really, thank you for signing up, and thank you for wanting a little bit more of me in your inbox. I appreciate it. If you didn't get a chance to sign up and you missed the March installment, you can go over and head to my website, which is beccalori.com, and you can sign up right now for the monthly musings, and you will get April's. But if you'd like to see March's, just shoot me an email at info@beccalori.com, and I will email you back the March edition. But please sign up for the newsletter. I would really love to see you guys there. It's just another way for me to communicate with you guys, besides doing this video, besides doing the live stream on Tuesdays and running the 2 groups. I just want other ways that I can share the work that I'm doing with you guys, so you can take what you're interested in. So that happened this week. I haven't really heard much feedback. I'm happier to hear no feedback than bad feedback, but I sure would like to hear something. So if you got the newsletter and you had a chance to read it, I would love your feedback. So you can do that on any of the comments where I posted about. You can comment on any of the postings I did about the newsletter, the monthly musings. Or you can email me directly at info@beccalori.com. I'd be happy to hear from you guys. And I guess that's it for me, kind of. I don't know if this shirt is bothering you. So it's the other thing, the other conversation in my head right now is about this shirt, because they tell you whatever, like when you're on camera, that you shouldn't wear graphics and you shouldn't wear prints and stuff like that because it can be very distracting. But I don't own anything really solid colored. So I usually wear a t-shirt that has like one major design on it. But this is what I was wearing today, and I just went, you know, never worn this shirt on camera. It's not totally solid, but I don't think the pattern is so crazy. crazy, and I really like this color blue, so I decided to wear it anyway. If it's making you crazy sensory wise, please let me know, so I don't do it again. But I don't know, I don't see what the big deal is yet, but that's the conversation, the other conversation in my head. All right, let's get on to the news before I waste any more oxygen on anything else. Here we go. This week, again, light news week, nothing crazy happening. We're all, I'm sure, gathering our strength for April as we know it's approaching. Sorry, March, that we spend the entirety of your month thinking about April, but many of us do. And so we haven't really had much. I'm guessing we're going to see a lot the closer we get to April. So I'll enjoy the quiet of this week while I can. We had some good things come out, some interesting things come out. So I'll share those with you. But I think it's going to be kind of a short edition this week of Newsstand because we didn't have too much. Starting us out this week in medium.com, we had an article called How Margot Jaffe of Verizon Media is Helping Smash ADHD Stigma and Empowering a Lost Generation of Women. And in this article, Margot Jaffe talks about her adult ADHD diagnosis that happened while she had a career and everything already. And so she talks about that, and she talks about her Kaleidoscope Society, which if you are a woman with ADHD and you'd like to go check out the Kaleidoscope Society, I would read this article and take the link. But that's sort of what she's working on to help reduce the stigma that goes on for women with ADHD. Good article, really interesting. She's interesting, and again, mainstream, you guys gotta be talking about it in the mainstream. It's fantastic. Next up, on Yahoo Lifestyle, which how rare to find something of interest on Yahoo these days. No offense, Yahoo, but really, right? Okay, so Yahoo Lifestyle. I'm autistic, but I didn't know it until after marriage and kids. Well, interesting story, but not unique. They certainly, of course, did the clickbait thing where it makes it seem like, it's such a rare thing to have not found out until then. But the truth is that most of us that get diagnosed in adulthood get diagnosed well into adulthood, and they've had their lives, they got married, they've had kids, and usually one of the kids ends up being on the spectrum, and that's usually when our parents are finding out. So it's not a really unique story, but it's an important story because it's a story that, for many of us, it is the story, right? So, and another interesting perspective on what that's like and why that happens. And if you're, for somebody, if you are that person out there that this is the way it went down for you, great article to share with people in your little bubble to give them an understanding of why and how and what it's like and all of that stuff. Okay. Next up, okay, so this one was a hottie this week. This was our big talk about article, and I have to tell you, it kind of blew me away. So in Psychology Today this week, we had a piece from John Elder Robison, which is somebody that most of us will say we respect and like, and I've never heard anybody say a negative word about John ever. And he wrote another piece about neurodiversity called The Limits of Neurodiversity. And I have to tell you, this is the first time that there was dissent from something that John has written. And I have to say, I didn't think it was wrongly placed. A lot of people expressing that they were confused by the piece, confused by what his point was. A lot of people talking about kind of how his definition of things is not necessarily correct, his terminology. He's not, that he wasn't understanding the terminology correctly were some of the complaints, and some other issues. So I'm curious. Go read it. Tell me what you think. Go find it in either, I think I posted it in both groups. So if you're in the LinkedIn group, go to that article. If you're in the Facebook group, go to that article. Tell me what you think, and take a look at everybody else's comments, because it's interesting to me to be seeing this feedback, and what does it mean for us when we disagree with someone in our community who is very, very well respected. So interesting kind of off take of this article itself. I myself also found it confusing. I wasn't entirely sure what points he was trying to make, and yeah, I was confused as well. So interesting. That was probably the most interesting thing that happened all week, I guess. You guys, I'm sorry that's the case, but it was the most interesting thing that happened this week in terms of what's going on in the groups. Okay, so if you have a chance, go back and take a look at that piece. John, if you want to pop into any of the groups and let us know kind of what you were thinking, or if you want to share a piece or anything like that, feel free. I know you're a member, but you're not very active, so that would be amazing. Let's see, moving on. Okay, next up, this was a great little piece. I know you guys saw me sharing about the ASD Nest program and NestCon. It's an expensive conference. It is, you guys, no joke. But I know they're working on it, but I know that the money that they do get from people buying them, I know because I was a part of one of the boards that helped put together the accessibility pieces for this conference. And so the money I know is going to putting the conferences together and getting better each year, which if you read this little summary article, and why I loved it so much is because it gives us a little bit of a summary of the whole day and how it went down, but it also kind of lets you know how much effort was put into putting it together, and you get to see all the different guests that were there, and all the different experiences that people had, so that at least folks were getting their money's worth, it looked like. I'm sorry to have missed it myself, but I didn't feel like leaving Colorado to fly to New York. So I didn't go, but guys can read about it here. It was a cute little write-up. They threw it up on the NYU site, and I really liked it, so I thought I would share it with you guys. Because conferences can be accessible for the neurodivergent. And there are things that are easily done and not that expensive, and that's really what the work that I was doing with them was about. So I would love you guys to see that. Next up, another little bit more about me. Sorry, this week had an interview come out. I did an interview by writing, a write-in interview. I don't know what they're called, but I typed my answers and they were put in print with Inspiration Matters. If you don't follow them on Facebook, please go over and take a look at their Facebook page. Fantastic site, and inspiration does matter. So they did a fantastic interview with me, and I really got to think about the things that I wanted to say when I answered. And so I was really proud of this interview. I really liked it, so I wanted to make sure that I shared it with you guys. And really, I think I'm almost done. Sad. Okay. But this week we do have, for the first time in a very long time, and if I had a graphic, it would look something like, a big shaky thing, special story, like that. Okay, so we have a little special news story this week. Going to be highlighting Judith Heumann. Judith Heumann is a American disability rights activist. She really handled and fought for the civil rights of disabled folks since like the 70s. She's disabled herself in a wheelchair, and she has done some amazing things fighting for the rights of disabled people. This week it came out on Time that she is going to be Time's Woman of the Year. That is life-shattering, life-altering, changes everything, right? Really, really important, especially at this time in our growth and kind of cycle as humans in a society, to see someone with a difference proudly put on the cover of Time magazine. And so great, really excited. That's twice this year we got that, right? We had Greta, and now we're having Judith Heumann. She's a fascinating woman, really, really strong-willed. She has some great, great opinions, and she's done some amazing things in the time that she's been an activist. So I was excited to see her highlighted with Time. And then in kind of along the string of Judith Heumann things, she was also on The Daily Show this week, and she did a great interview with Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah. There we go. And she did an interview with him where she talked about her book that came out this year, and she also talked about Crip Camp, which is a documentary that she's being featured in. I'm not sure. Can you hear that noise? Do you want to know what that is? I'm going to tell you what that is. You hear that noise? That is one of my sneaky cats trying to climb into a cardboard box that she is not supposed to get into. Kitty. Psst. No. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. So she was on The Daily Show. She had a great interview with him, and they put it up on YouTube. So I will be sharing that with you. And as I continue marching along the Judith Heumann track, a reminder that her book is out. It's called Being Human, and it's all about her life as a disability activist. Fascinating. I'm excited to read it. I'm waiting to get my copy in the mail. I really, really like her, and I thought you'd be interested. She was getting highlighted a lot in different places this week, and so it's important that as a part of the disability community, you know what's going on. And plus, she's just cool. What a cool lady. All right, so Judith Heumann, shout out to you. I hope you feel that love, that you got a little special story. right here on Neurodiversity Newsstand. Wow, I'm a little spring fever, you think? Maybe a little, just a little wackadoo. I'm not usually this wackadoo. All right. So that's my little special segment for this week. That is what I have to offer you for Neurodiversity Newsstand. Just a little quick reminder for you guys. A way to start to think about shifting April as it's coming along its way is to think about participating in the Our Golden Moment movement that is happening, event that's happening. I don't know quite what to call it, but it's a 2-day event, April 1st and April 2nd. April 1st is sort of a kind of to gather our allies and to kind of I believe the setup and the idea behind it is to just drown out the puzzle pieces, drown out the lighted up blue, drown out all of that stuff, and to really make sure that the voices of Autistics are the voices that we hear during the month of April. April's second component of the Golden Moment is going to be an autistic coming out moment. So finding a way for those of us who have not disclosed but want to have a moment to disclose and live openly autistic. And so that movement is coming up. I wanted to make sure I shared that with you guys. There was some controversy about the date because it was originally set for April 1st and now it's been expanded from the 1st and the 2nd. So take a look at that. And I hope that's really all you have to do to prepare for April. I mean, it's terrible that so many of us feel almost traumatized by our own month. So if you do anything about it this month, take it back, you know, own the word, own the month, own the education, just own it. Take it back and make it mean what we want it to mean. And that's how we're going to get the stigma gone. It really is. And I don't mean to stand on a soapbox about it. April's a tough month for me too. It used to feel like a color war game. Like, are you blue? Are you red? What color? Are you gold? Are you this? Are you that? But it means so much more to me than just thinking about what color t-shirt I'm wearing. It means so much more to me than that. There has to come a time when wearing the label of autistic doesn't feel like a neon sign asking for abuse. And the only way to do that is for us to take it back, really own it, and show people that you can carry the autism label and at the same time be an amazing human being. So do that with your April. That's what I suggest you do with it. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Neurodiversity Newsstand. Really not much. If I missed something, you guys, please let me know. If you enjoyed what you're seeing here, please let me know that too. Your thumbs up and thumbs down mean a lot. So if you have the time and energy to just give me one, I'd appreciate it. I'm up to 11 now pretty regularly, you guys, and I'm seeing some more views and a couple more subscribers every week. But I appreciate it when you guys share my stuff and when you let people know that I'm out there doing this for all of us. So I appreciate your shares. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your thumbs up. And I would love if you would comment to me in the comments wherever you are seeing this video. Or you can email me directly at info@beccalaurie.com. I want to hear from you guys. I only do this so that I'm not a hermit living on the top of a mountain, which most of the time, that's exactly what I am. And that is what I plan to do this weekend. It's going to be pretty out, and I'm going to sit out in the sunshine with my dogs and do nothing. And enjoy it. So I hope whatever you guys do with your weekend, you enjoy it. If you do something fun and exciting, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to know. But whatever it is, be kind to yourself. And really just remember your self-care. Remember that everything is in your life is in your control. And if there's something you don't like about it, you can do something about it. Okay? All right. Those are my last words of wisdom. I will see you next Friday for the next installment of Neurodiversity Newsstand. Or if you also watch Becca's Backyard Live, I will see you on Tuesday at 2:20 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for my next Becca's Backyard Live, where I just share with you what's going on with me and we just kind of chit-chat back and forth while I sit outside at my house and we get to know each other. I hope you enjoyed this installment of Neurodiversity Newsstand. I'm headed off to go and record Asking Spectrum Women, which I'm sure you'll get to watch too, and I will see you on Tuesday or Friday of next week. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you then. Bye.